Hello, welcome to the video. Today we're gonna take a look at Shadow Excadrill in the Remix Cup. But this Pokemon is actually quite interesting because there are a lot of Pokemon that are very weak to it, and so it is quite an interesting one to take a look at. And we're going to have a team here with the Pelipper in the lead. We're going to have the Say Swap of the Steelix, which is quite good in the current meta as a Say Swap especially, and of course in the back as a sweeper, the Excadrill. And honestly, this team worked out super well as well. I had a different team that I tried to play before that without the Excadrill, which didn't work out, so yeah, it is what it is. We're going to see here, of course, mainly the teams that actually work out on the channel. We were able to catch a Thunder Punch on our Steelix from a Fire type, which is quite hilarious here with that, yeah, Typhlosion. The opponent stops out into the Poliwrath. We can go for the super effective hit here with the Psychic Fangs, dropping the opponent's attack, and we can still force the opponent to throw some energy onto us as we are going to let this move go through. We should be able to farm them down with our Pelipper and get a ton of energy. So let's see what the opponent gonna try to do here. We can go for the full farm down with that energy. No matter what they have in the back, we're going to be fine, especially with a shield advantage. We will see here them going back into their Typhlosion. We can fully farm them down. We have so much energy, it's going to be a Ninetales, and that is a game. We're not going to be able to one-shot them, but we're still going to have a great matchup here in the back with our Excadrill, and so we can just move on to the next opponent. Moving on, we're going to have a great lead here for us as well, for at least the team, as we swap out straight away into our Excadrill against that Empoleon. And honestly, this matchup was quite a wild one. We're gonna see it here real quick. We're gonna see a shield coming through from our Excadrill, but also we see already that our super effective Mud Shot does less damage than the opponent's resisted Steel Wing. That does not make any sense. Like, what? Like, the opponent has a resisted fast move and does more damage and can't even fully farm me down here. It is kind of ridiculous. But we want to try to catch a Drill Peck here onto our Steelix, hoping that they just go for the blind Drill Peck for the Pelipper. Did not work out. But at least we're going to still keep our shield, which is really important for this matchup. We really need the shield advantage onto our Pelipper, but now it's kind of a guessing game. When are they going to throw and when are they going to swap? And so I'm going to overfarm by a little bit. I can go for a Hurricane, knock out that Whimsicott, but we still have to see what they have in the back here. Is something that we can beat. It is going to be a Swampert, and that is quite lovely. I was worried for a little bit that this would be a Quagsire, which would be able to go for a super effective hit with that Stone Edge, but Swampert will not take that Hurricane. We can move on to the next opponent. Goodra is kind of an awkward one. Our lead is actually fine if we have energy on our lead, and our Say Swap is kind of fine if they stay in for longer, and our Pokemon in the back is going to be fine if we have like equal energy or just like in general have some energy advantage. So like honestly, Goodra doesn't seem to be too bad on paper. But then again, if those scenarios are not the case, then Goodra is quite awkward. If they have energy, it's going to be very tough for both of my Pokemon in the backline, and also just the neutral scenario is very tough for our lead matchup. So yeah, it is a little bit of a trickier Pokemon. Here we're going to be able to go for the full farm on with the Pelipper. They swap back into the Goodra, as I can reach for the Hurricane. Of course, that debuff is going to be a little bit of a downside here, as you can try to go for the Hurricane and try to get them into range where we can Mud Shot them down. And this is like the awkward thing about Excadrill. And to the point where I was even thinking of going for the move Mud Slap instead, because Mud Slap would actually be able to do a ton of fast move pressure, but of course Mud Shot is usually the preferred one because it's just going to be faster to get to the charge moves. But I feel like Mud Slap in the two-shield scenario has a lot of play as well, but here we're going to still try our best. But we kind of have to hope there's something in the back that is going to be weak to Pelipper, but honestly, I doubt it. I don't think there's going to be anything that we could beat here in the back. Awkward here going to come through here in the back is going to be a Registeel. Yeah, we would have needed the Excadrill for this one. Next opponent, we're going to have a great lead here. It's a kind of an okay lead. It's not really a great lead. We're going to stay in, go for a charge move, and then swap out. We have an ABB style line. What this means is we have our lead here of Pelipper, which is our best answer for fighting type Pokemon. And so swapping onto the Steelix here is going to allow us to deal with those fighting type Pokemon a little bit easier and just bait them out basically while still having the Psychic Fangs, which are super effective damage. But you always kind of still need to keep your lead around just to counter them when they counter you down. And it's just important to get rid of fighting type Pokemon if you have an Excadrill in the back. Anyway, let's swap out into the Carbink. I am still running Earthquake. If you saw the Greninja video, I don't have any charge TMs. I cannot change my moveset. There were a Pokemon that I really wanted to showcase today, and like I was literally looking at teams that I potentially could run for an hour, and I couldn't run most of that because I just was not able to change my movesets. And that was kind of ridiculous. Like, hopefully there's going to be a way in the future where you can get TMs a little bit easier. I know I could do just 3-star rates the entire time, but it is kind of something that I don't really want to waste money on just to basically change the moveset of my Pokemon. It is quite ridiculous. So, like, I don't know. Hopefully there's going to be a change. I doubt it, but we will see. Maybe with Go Fast I can get some more throughout all those raids I'm going to do there. But right now I'm at exactly 1 charge TM, and I cannot change to Crunch or anything like this. So it's a little bit difficult, especially if we're going to get some new Pokemon eventually. There's going to be one new Pokemon line coming up very soon as well, which is not completely released yet, but like there's an event and also recently hints in the code, which definitely going to showcase that this Pokemon is coming soon. It's a normal type Pokemon from the newest generation, and it has 2 different evolved form stages that do exactly the same. So if you know it already, let me know in the comment section. But yeah, there's going to be an event for this Pokemon towards the end of the month. But before that, we're going to have the Go Fest coming up. I will very likely do a video towards Go Fest on Tuesday, where I'm gonna rank all the different kind of spawns that are going to be happening. I think it's going to be quite nice for everybody who kind of wants to see what is good and what is not good, because I feel like it's a little bit difficult to currently keep track on what is spawning and when it's spawning. So there's going to be very likely a video coming out on Tuesday for that, so definitely stay tuned. Here I make a mistake. I should have never went for that Weather Ball. I should have just swapped out straight away. Like, there was no reason for me to go for Weather Ball there. This literally, I mean, it is not the worst ever, because like it's gonna put them down to another Weather Ball range, but it's going to still kind of hurt me. Like, this definitely did not help me at all. So Omnius Wintia is a smart play by the opponent. They are going to be able to fully farm me down now, and it is kind of now game over with that. They had to go for a Shadow Ball for me to have a chance of winning this battle. But now they're going to be able to outspeed me. I can still try to go for the double Weather Ball, but it is not going to work. It is just not going to work. The energy that they just got there from the Excadrill is just a little bit too much, and we're going to sadly lose this battle, but we can move on to the next opponent. So, let's see what they're going to have here. It's going to be a Dedenne. The Dedenne is going to be an interesting Pokemon here. I actually don't really like this matchup at all, because it's going to be very tough for us, but we at least can swap out straight away into our Steelix after trying to go for at least one Weather Ball, like getting up to that one at least. As we gotta get the player off onto us, they decide to stay in, and honestly make a maybe a little bit of a mistake, because I could have also just ran for the Psychic Fangs, but honestly I thought that they would not have a Mana Bus in the back now. And so Mana Bus is going to be a very tough Pokemon. Even if we had Crunch, of course, this would be a very tough matchup for us. But as we will see here, Dark Pulse coming through. We're going to try to just stall the Switch Clock, and with those moves coming through here as well, we are going to be able to do some nice damage now with that Weather Ball. The opponent is double debuffed, and so this should be quite nice, and the damage is quite nice. But at the end of the day, if they swap out of it now, it does actually barely even help me, and so they can swap out into the Dedenne. They decide to go straight for the charge move here, and I don't know if it's a mistake or not, but I decided to go into my Excadrill, and I was like kind of worried that this is a play rough, and so I decided to use a shield, but it wasn't. And so I'm gonna try to go ahead and get some extra energy, let them go for a charge move, but sadly I'm actually still forced to go for another charge move before the opponent gets to the next charge move afterwards, because Mudshot is apparently not doing enough damage, even though we are very squishy. It is stab, it is super effective, but I guess Excadrill, with all the attack it has, just doesn't really do enough against a Dedenne, as they're gonna see the Mana Bus swapping back in. We have to hope that there's something in the back that we can deal with, but let's find out what it's going to be. It is going to be a Meowscarada. Honestly, out of all the Pokemon, not what I expected. I still wish that Leafage would be a little bit better than it is. Like, Leafage is actually fine in terms of what it can do, but like, I feel like Grass typing is quite a decent defensive typing, but not a great offensive typing, especially in Pokemon Go right now. And so it's a little bit tough for them, but as you guys see here, they are going to be able to knock me out. And so we're going to move on to the next opponent, as Night Slash is going to be enough here. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have a Quagsire in the lead. Again, it's a little bit of a trickier one, because they could have a Stone Edge, but they swap out into the Tentacruel, and it is time for our, our Excadrill to completely destroy the opponent. this is going to be some nice damage coming through here soon. We're going to be forced to use a shield here, of course, because this god would one-shot us, even though they go for acid spray, it's totally fine. But now we can overfarm. And what this means is we can outspeed that Quagsire. We need at least one fast move extra to outspeed the Quagsire, and we were able to get that. And we can knock out the opponent here, and so we can go for another drill run. And that drill run is doing a lot of damage, like a lot of damage. We cannot get to another one here, which is quite unfortunate. But I was able to call that they would go straight for that Stone Edge, and so I will be able to just take that hit easily with the Steelix while knocking them out. Also just letting them forfeit the battle, and we can move on to the next opponent. Very lovely lead for us as they swap out into the dub wall. I expect when they use dub wall as a chase up here in this kind of case, I was expecting that they're going to run a wild charge. And so what I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to try to catch the move, which doesn't work out. But even though it did not work out, I'm fairly certain the best charge move they can go for is a body slam. And so we are going to see here now that they can go for another charge move afterwards. And if they had like nothing else, like if they had basically payback, they would go straight for the payback here. There's no real reason for them to go for the body slam spam. And so we're going to be in a very solid spot as they can go for another charge move. It is mad how fast the opponent's dub wall is just getting to those moves, but we can still farm them. We can still go for another charge move against that Gallagher here. We can try to debuff the opponent as well. And it is going to be quite a nice matchup for us. They're still forced to go for another charge move because this would also still reach another charge move as well, which would have been good for us, but it is what it is. We see the swap out straight away into the Registeel, and that's down to Excadrill. And yes, this game is over. The opponent still tried their best, to be fair, which is kind of cool to see, but yeah, basically what they expect is that I would use a shield here, but I am not. And so for me, this is just game over. I can just fully farm them down here. I have then a ton of energy for a ton of weather balls, and the opponent already is in range for that one weather ball. And so it is what it is. We can move on to the next opponent as they also forfeit this battle basically. Second to last battle for the day, we're going to have here the Deoxys defense in the lead. This is going to be a matchup where the charge moves can be quite threatening, but not so much on our Steelix. And so Steelix is going to be quite a nice wall to this thing here, as we're going to be able to take that Thunderbolt. Double resisted damage, not going to bother me at all, as they're going to go for another charge move. I was like, why would you do that? Like, everything is resisted, no matter what you want to do. Every single thing is resisted, and we have to see what is actually their team there in the back. Because I feel like it must be very weak to Steelix, and maybe this was a mistake by me now. But as you're going to see, the Earthquake coming through, going to be able to knock them out. It's going to be a Ninetales, which is quite neutral. I can go into my Excadrill, which can go ahead and go for those Rock Slides, but they have another Goodra in the back here. And that's going to be quite an awkward one for us. We're going to still go for that Drill Run. We're going to need to try to farm them down with something. But even then, it's going to be a tough one for sure. Awkward here coming through. And we can still try to go for the swap out here. Pelipper gonna knock them out. We have some energy now. I'm fairly certain this should be it. Like, I'm fairly certain with all the spam of our Pelipper, plus like also the spam that we have for the other one there with the Excadrill, we're going to be in a great spot here as we're forcing those shields left, right, and center. And with that, this game is over. We can let the move go through or use a shield. Doesn't really matter, because like if you use a shield, we just force them to go for another one, or we can go for a Wither Ball ourselves. And this is going to be it for this game. And we can move on to the final one. Final one for today, Frost is in the lead, a Pokemon that I kind of want to showcase as well, but I kind of want to wait until I get the Shadow variant, because I got a really nice Shadow variant of Frostless that I just have to build now. But as you can see here, we can get some nice damage onto them. We can swap out into our Steelix, try to bait out whatever's in the back that I don't want to face with my other Pokemon here, with that Excadrill. And so we're going to get out the opponent's Jellicent, which is lovely. We have enough bulk to survive a move here. We don't really have to use a shield. And honestly, Crunch would have been nice here, but yeah, okay, of course the opponent does know that this is not going to be a Crunch because it's way too fast. We need one more fast move to get there. And so they call it as well. They let the move go through. They can still go for another charge move. And that is not really going to be nice for us, is it? We can use a shield here though, and so we can align ourselves, and it's a Decidueye in the back. And so I doubt that we're going to have a chance here, but we can still try at least, right? We at least get them quite low here, but it is quite ridiculous that I got beaten with this team from a Decidueye and from also, like, I forgot the name, even from like the Gen 9 starter there, Meowscarada, in one video with one team. and we beat everything that's like top tier meta, which is quite ridiculous. Like, that is not how it's supposed to be, but it's definitely going to be how this team kind of worked for me. We are not going to have really a chance here. I needed to get to the charge move in time, which I didn't, and so sadly that's going to be a good game. That's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Excadrill, quite a nice Pokemon. This team was quite decent as well, and yeah, that's going to be it. Bye bye.